New trade suitors have been revealed for Rasmus Andersson, and it is looking more and more likely that the Swedish blueliner will be on the way out of Calgary either this offseason or at the trade deadline. These trade partners could make a lot of sense for both Andersson and the Flames. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and we got a boatload of new suitors for Rasmus Andersson as the Razz suitors have been revealed. And let's talk about it. I mean, Rasmus Andersson, the trade rumors, they aren't new and they're not going anywhere, and they'll kind of be here until he's either traded or not by the end of next deadline, honestly. It could be a very long trade saga, or it could be like last offseason, I should say, where Craig Conroy decided to, trade Markstrom and Mangiapane in the summer. But we've got a great article here, and it comes from Ryan Dixon from Sportsnet, and he writes 5 potential trade destinations for Flames D-man Rasmus Andersson. And some of them, maybe we've spoken about before. I'm sure a lot of people have brought up in their day-to-day sports conversations with their friends and whatnot, but some of them may be a little bit newer as well. So let's get into the first little introduction here. I won't go over the whole article. It is a great one, though, so please go check it out. But the Calgary Flames' final game of the regular season sure felt like a glimpse into the team's blue line future. In that contest, both Zane Parekh and Hunter Brzustewicz made their NHL debuts. Parekh, a highly touted 9th overall pick in 2024, scored a goal and went +3 in over 20 minutes of play, and Brzustewicz, a 2023 third-rounder who made a strong AHL debut this season, didn't grab a point but finished +2 in nearly 20 minutes of work as well. Lending even more of a symbolic feel to that finale versus the Kings, Rasmus Andersson missed his one and only contest of the 2024-25 campaign, opening up some space for the two kids to shine. So essentially, the Flames are ready for the future to be here, and Rasmus Andersson may or may not be a part of that, and if he's not, it will be because he's getting traded away. So let's get into the first of these 5 trade suitors or trade partners for the Flames, and it is the Buffalo Sabres of all teams. So the Sabres have been screaming out for a right shot defender to complement lefties Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power in their top 4. Not only that, but Buffalo has a defenseman of its own, 23-year-old Bowen Byram, who was part of trade speculation from the season that spilled into the summer. Byram, a BC native who played AAA hockey in Alberta, almost seems like a dream fit for the Flames, who are retooling on the fly with players who are nearly NHL ready or just entering their prime. Additionally, the aforementioned Parekh and Brzustewicz are both righty, so there's actually more need for a puck mover like Byram on the left side in southern Alberta. So not only do the Buffalo Sabres make sense because they need Andersson, but they could have something that the Flames want back, which is Bowen Byram. And I gotta be honest, that's a name that comes up very often in the comment section of this channel because you guys really, or a lot of you guys really want the Flames to try and pursue him, and an Andersson and Byram trade with other moving pieces as well could definitely make sense. Next one here, the Carolina Hurricanes. And this one's interesting. So the Canes must feel as though they're banging their head on the door after a 5-game loss in the Eastern Conference Final to Florida. Carolina has been a Final Four club in 2 of the past 3 seasons, but has a 1-8 record there against the juggernaut Cats. Not to mention they're 1-16 in their last 4 trips to the Eastern Conference Final since obviously winning the Cup back in 2006. So they need to change something around. While the focus will once again be on the Hurricanes' need for more scoring up front, a puck mover like Andersson can certainly help drive offense. Now, 40-year-old Brent Burns and 33-year-old Dmitry Orlov are at the end of their contracts, while Russian stud Alexander Nikishin and fellow promising youngster Scott Morrow are knocking on the door. Andersson could be a stabilizing presence in the Carolina top 4 while the pieces settle around him and elite defensive defenseman Jacob Slavin. Carolina has the picks and prospects to pull off a deal, including 2 2026 firsts thanks to the trade that sent Rantanen to Dallas. In a perfect world, the Canes would add a scorer for nothing but money in free agency while pulling off a swap to land a needle mover like Andersson on the back end. So the Canes can kind of make the changes they need, and it could include an Andersson trade, and we could get what we want back in a first-round pick. Would be absolutely fantastic. I know some people, again, in the comment section of this channel and just otherwise think that a good comparable trade would be kind of like the Noah Hannafin one. So maybe the Flames could pull off something like that and Carolina could go after their score in free agency. Again, both with Buffalo and Carolina, not only does it make sense for Andersson to go to those places because they need Andersson, but the Flames could get back what they want in an Andersson trade. So I like this one as well. The next one here. This one, I'm not too sure, but the Toronto Maple Leafs. Well, let's see. So Leafs general manager Brad Treliving, Boston Pizza Brad himself, drafted Andersson 53rd overall in 2015 when he held that post in Calgary. Treliving has already repatriated, I don't really know that word to be honest, one former Flames D-man in Chris Tanev, who, after spending a few months with the Stars, signed as a free agent in Toronto 11 months ago. So Treliving could be interested in his old studs from the Flames. And for what it's worth, Andersson played 2 years of major junior hockey with the OHL's Barrie Colts, so he has some familiarity with the Leafs' neighborhood. Andersson would bring a puck-moving element Toronto's defense core could use, and the Leafs would really be set on that right side with Andersson, Tanev, and a trade deadline pickup, Brandon Carlo. So that would hopefully make them obviously more competitive. I mean, if you're a Leafs fan, that's obviously what you want. Any chance Calgary would look at Morgan Riley as part of a return? We've made a video on that, and I said no, and all of you guys said no, but who knows? It sure feels like the longest tenured Leaf, who holds full no movement projection, could benefit from a scenery change, and removing him from the books would help with keeping Andersson around long term. This makes sense for the Leafs to pick up Andersson. I don't think it makes sense for the Flames to do a trade with the Leafs because the Leafs don't have too much to offer. Treliving has traded away almost the Leafs' whole future at this year's trade deadline in the Carlo and Lawton trades and whatnot. So I don't know what we could really get back from Toronto. Obviously, I mean, Treliving's down to trade some things away. Maybe we could, get an Easton Cowan if we're going crazy here. We'd probably have to trade a little more because that's really, I think, all we'd want from the Leafs organization. But it makes sense for Toronto to want Andersson. I just don't know if the trade makes sense for the Flames. But again, you just never know. The next one here, the Dallas Stars. Similar situation to Carolina. So the Stars must be ready to change the mix a bit after having their season end for a third straight spring in the Western Conference Final. They've had a number of stopgap solutions on the right side in recent years, but nobody who fit the bill as a true top four guy. The one who did, Chris Tanev, left via free agency last summer. If left shooting Miro Heiskanen stays on the right side, Andersson could slide behind him to round out the top two pairs with Thomas Harley and Esa Lindell. That's a long, rangy top four to throw at the league's best teams. That would really help them, I think, maybe get over the hump and get to the Stanley Cup final. But I don't know if Dallas is going to be as good next year, but we'll see. Pending RFA, Maverick Bourque might be somebody the Flames would be interested in acquiring, as he's a 23-year-old coming off a decent rookie showing. He has been linked to the Flames like crazy for someone who, probably doesn't know all that much about the Flames at all. Next one here, I believe, is this the last one now? The Montreal Canadiens. The Habs' number one target this offseason is a number two center who can support Nick Suzuki. That's not Andersson. That said, Montreal is examining all avenues to build on its surprise playoff appearance, and the right side of the defense is an area that could use an upgrade. And I've said this before, but Josh Goss, one of the hosts of Habs Digest, is certain that the Habs are going to trade for Rasmus Andersson. He always says future Hab Rasmus Andersson whenever I speak to the guy, but it could happen. The Canadiens are loaded with picks and prospects thanks to a years-long rebuilding process, and a number of those prospects are on the verge of graduating to the NHL. Again, players at that stage of their career seem to be of interest to Calgary. So this one makes sense for Calgary because we could get what we want back. With Dallas, if it's Maverick Bourque, that's great, but I would hope for a little bit more. With the Habs, they have so much they could offer Calgary that I think Conroy would be willing to make a deal. Montreal likely still has David Reinbacher, the 5th overall pick in 2023, penciled in as its long-term top guy on the right side. Now, obviously, Lane Hudson plays a lot on the right as a lefty, but could obviously switch back to his natural side. It's going to take a while for Reinbacher to develop, though, and Andersson at 28 threads the needle for Montreal in terms of being a defenseman who can help now, but also be a key contributor for the next half dozen years as the team tries to become a true contender. Kind of similar situation to Calgary, you can argue. You could see a a world where Andersson occupies the top right shot position on the D for 2 or 3 years, then moves back to the second pair when Reinbacher is up to the job. So again, it makes sense for Andersson to go to Montreal. I think Montreal is a team that would like to have Andersson. And we could honestly make a trade happen with the Habs because they have what we want. But there you go. There's the 5 new suitors revealed for Rasmus Andersson. Please let me know which one you think is the most likely and if we should pull off any trades. And feel free to drop a little trade proposal in the comments as well. We always love seeing those. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do here on the channel. Comes from yesterday's video, of course. And this one comes from Lawrence. Lawrence said, can never have enough goalie insurance. Sure, they can add him for a decent cap hit and have plenty of cap space to take care of their RFAs, as well as maybe adding an RFA or two. Can't wait for the start of next season. And that just obviously piggybacks off of the Flames being interested in the star goalie from the KHL. And honestly, if there's no Vladar, why not go after this guy? Sure, he might be looking for a starting job, but he just might not be good enough, and Calgary could be a great destination for him behind Dustin Wolf. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.